This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, this morning I told you about how to create an object and how to call the methods using the object, correct?
Yes,
so without
Ramji.
creating a object, you cannot call the method. If you want to call a method, you need a object, correct?
Yes, Ramji.
Will everyone agree to me?
Yeah.
Others, please respond. Any problem with you guys? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Respond to me. Did you understand the morning class how to call a object, how to call a method on a object?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. So I
Yes.
wanted you to respond. Don't sit silent. Okay.
Okay.
Next thing. Okay. So I will create a class B. I'll create a class B, and inside class B, what I'll do is I will write one method called M1. Okay, and I'll
Okay.
create one variable called integer variable. I told that whatever you write in Java, you have to write inside a class, and you can write only variables and methods inside a class.
Yeah.
So till now, I told you how to write the methods and how to call the methods using the object of a class.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So for the first time, I'm talking about how to write the variables. So this is one variable and this is one method.
Yes.
So this particular class contains one variable and one method.
Okay.
So for example, I have a class called human beings. In the human beings class, I have a variable called ice. I have a variable called yes, correct? I declared them as integer. Okay.
Yes.
So there is a variable called notes. I declared them as an integer.
Yeah.
So if I create the object of human beings class, if I create the object of human beings class, and if I refer that object with a variable from Ramji, okay, this variable is of type human beings, correct? This is what I told this morning.
Yes.
Yes.
So suppose if I create another object, this is another object. Every time I say new, a new object will be created, correct? So
Yes.
Yeah.
this object is referred with a variable called x. Okay, let me create one more object, new human beings,
Why?
and let me refer this object with y variable. Okay, now tell me, in this world there are a lot of human being objects. So right now I created three objects, correct? So for the
Yes.
first object, what I'll do is Ramji dot ice equal to 2. This is the value of ice for Ramji.
Ramji,
So
lot of
what we will
disturbance is
do that,
coming. I can't hear you.
sorry,
I mean, lot of disturbance is coming. I can't hear you properly.
Hyun and Kathy, can you please mute your microphone?
You say what?
Can you please mute your microphone?
Okay.
Yeah, I can still hear the disturbance.
One
I
second,
can't hear you.
Hyun, please mute your microphone. Yeah, Kathy, please unmute your microphone now. Did you see? Are you seeing the disturbance now?
No, Ramji.
So Hyun, I think disturbance is coming from your laptop. So please mute your microphone. So I created the object. I'm referring this object with this variable. This is a reference variable, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So now I can say that the value of I is equal to 2 for this object. Ramji is nothing but this particular object. For this particular object, I is equal to 2, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So for this particular object x dot I is equal to 1, there might be a chance correct? In this world,
Yes.
every object might not have the two eyes, correct?
Yes.
Every human being object might not have the same eyes. The first object might have two eyes, the second object might have one eye, or the third object might have zero eyes. He might be a blind person, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it means if I ask you, hey, what is the value of eyes? What will you tell me? If I ask you what is the value of eyes, what is the answer you tell me?
Generally 2.
It's not generally. You should ask me for which object you are asking me.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
If
For
you
which
ask me for which object you are asking me, you say for the object y, then you should say I is equal to 0 for the object y.
Okay.
So for Ramji's object I is equal to 2. For x object I is equal to 1. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So it means the value of ice depends on the object. The value of ice, whether it is if I ask you what is the value of ice, definitely you should ask me for which object you're asking, because the value of ice is different for each object, correct?
Yes.
It may be same or may not be same.
Yeah.
So right now I gave the value is 1. If I give value equal to 2, it is same. For the Ramji's object and for the x object, the value is same, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So it means the value of this particular variable depends on the object, correct?
Yes.
So for the first object, it is 2. For the second object, it is 1. And for the third object, it is 0. It depends on the object. The value of the variable depends on the object. It may be same or it may not be same. That is secondary story. But it depends on the object. You should ask me for which object you're asking, because it is depending on the object.
Okay.
Correct? For every object, the value might not be same. For the first object, the value can be different. For the second object, the value can be different. Got it? So
Yes.
now inside this class human beings, I have a variable called eyes, I have a variable called ears, I have a variable called nose. All these variables are called instance variables, because the value of the variable depends on the instance. Instance is nothing but object. The other name for the object is instance. Instance is nothing but object. It's other name. So instead of calling it as an object, I can call it as an instance. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Ramji.
Yes.
So going forward, whenever I say instance, you should not get confused. Instance is nothing but object. If I ask you to create an instance for class A, you have to create an instance for class A. New A, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So whenever I ask you to create an instance for class B, you have to create an instance for class B, new B. That is how you create an object. Instance is nothing but object. I'm asking you to create an object for class B. I'm asking you to create an object for class A. But I'm telling in different words. Create an instance for class A. Create an instance for class B. Because instance is nothing but object.
Okay.
So these three variables are called instance variables, because the value of the variable depends on the instance. It depends on the object, correct?
Yeah.
So if I ask you what is the value of ears, so for example, for the first object, Ramji dot ears equal to 2. For the second object, x dot ears equal to 0. You might be a deaf person, correct?
Yes.
So y dot ears is equal to 1. Only one ear is working for this guy. Okay. So if I ask you what is the value of ears, definitely you should ask me for which object you are asking, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
There are three objects. For which object you are asking the value of ears? So then I should tell that, okay, for the y object, or for the x object, or for the Ramji's object. Then you can tell the answer. Without telling the object, can you tell me the answer?
Nope.
No.
So these variables, the value of these variables depends on the object, obviously, correct?
Yes.
That way these variables are called instance variables. Instance is nothing but object. The value of the variable depends on the instance.
Yeah.
Any questions here?
No questions.
No.
So whatever the variables you write inside a class, whatever the variables you write inside a class, those variables are called instance variables. And if you want to give the value to this variable, obviously you need an object. Without object, can you give the value?
Nope.
No.
No.
You need an object to give the value to this variable. Okay.
Yes.
So for the first object, the value is 2. For the second object, the value is 1. For the third object, the value is 0. It depends on the instance. So these variables are called instance variables. What are the variables you write inside the class? Those variables are called instance variables. So next point is, so right now in the class B, you have one instance variable.
Yes.
In
Yes.
class B, you have one instance variable. Agreed?
Yes.
Yes.
So, and you have one instance method. This method is called a instance method because without instance, you cannot call this method. If you have an instance, then only you can call this method. Without instance, can you call this method?
No.
No.
Can you call this functionality without an object?
No.
No.
You need an object of class B to call this method, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So without the object of class B, you cannot call this method. So without instance, you cannot call this method. That's why this method is called instance method. Instance. Okay.
Okay.
So this method is called instance method. So it means class can contain instance variables and instance methods. Correct? Because
Yeah.
those variables, till yesterday I was telling that whatever you write in Java, you have to write inside a class, and class can contain only variables and methods. Correct?
Yes.
Those
Yes.
variables are instance variables, and those methods are instance methods. Why those variables are called instance variables? Because the value of the variable depends on the instance.
Yeah. Okay.
Why they are called instance methods? Because those methods can be called only with a instance. Without instance, you cannot call those methods. Okay?
Okay.
Yes.
So it means class can contain instance variables and instance methods. Of course, here this particular method is a main method is not a instance method. It is not a instance method, correct?
Yes.
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 Because you are calling this method without creating an object.
Yeah.
Without creating an object, the JRE is calling this method automatically, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is not a instance method. This is a static method. Instance method is different and static method is different. So I'll talk about what is static method, what is meant by static keyword. I'll talk about it after some time, as I said. Getting it? So class can contain only variables and methods. That is for sure. Those variables can be instance variables or static variables, or those methods can be instance methods or static methods.
Okay. Yes.
But you don't know what is a static variable and you don't know what is a static method. I'll talk about it at later point of time. At this point of time, you know what is the instance variable, you know what is the instance method, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
So,
Anand.
so this method is also called as a non-static method, and this variable is also called as a non-static variable, instance variable or non-static variable, because it is not static, right? It's non-static.
Yeah.
So this variable is an instance variable or non-static variable, and this method is a non-static method or instance method. So I'm trying to give you the different terminology. So because going forward, when I say non-static method, or when I say non-static variable, or when I say instance variable, or when I say instance method, you should not get confused. Any questions?
No, Ram.
No.
Okay. So now, and so class can contain variables and methods. So right now it contains only one method, correct?
Yeah.
This particular class A contains only one method, and that is a static method. And class B contains one instance variable and one instance method. Class human beings contains three instance variables, correct?
Yes.
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 Okay. So this is this and as I said, class can contain only variables and methods. These are called members of a class. These variables and methods are together called the members of a class. So right now
Okay,
this
Ram.
particular class contain two members, one variable and one method. These are the two members of this class.
Okay, Ram.
And this particular class contains only one member because there is only one method. So this is one member of a class, correct?
Yes.
And class C contains three members because there are three variables, there are three members. They are the members of a class. Members.
Okay, Ram.
Members of a class. Sorry. Okay. So these variables and methods are together called the members of a class. If everyone understood this, I'll go back. I'll continue with the next topic.
Yeah, we
Yes.
understood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So next topic is so whenever if you observe, whenever I'm writing a class, for example, I'm writing a class called vehicle. Or whenever I'm writing another class, for example, class employee or class student. So I'm writing so many classes, right? So whenever I
Yes.
write a class, if you observe, each and every class name, I'm starting with the uppercase,
Yes.
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
So human beings H is uppercase. And if you look at class A is uppercase, and class B is uppercase.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm writing any class, I'm starting with the uppercase. For example, this class contains two words. The name of the class contains two words. Human is one word and beings is the other word. Correct?
Yes.
So each and every word, the first letter is starting with the uppercase. Suppose if I write class vehicle details, this is the name of the class, for example. Okay? So
Yes.
a vehicle, there's a details, there are two words. So I'm
Yes.
writing the first letter with the uppercase. The first letter of the second word is uppercase. For example, it has another another word. For example, vehicle details of a vehicle. Suppose this is the name of a class. So the first letter of the first word is uppercase. The first letter of the second word is uppercase. The first letter of the third word is uppercase. The first letter of the fourth word is A is a fourth word, right? A is
Yes.
the first letter of the fourth word is uppercase, and the first letter of the fifth word is uppercase.
Okay.
Each and every, suppose if the class name contains more words, each and every word the first letter should be uppercase and remaining everything should be in lowercase.
Okay.
This is not mandatory. This is not mandatory. You can say, you can write just lowercase vehicle also. That's your wish. That is your wish. But this is the standard. This is the standard. This is the naming conventions everyone will follow in the industry, but not mandatory. But when you join the company, when you start writing the programs, if you write the programs like this, if you give the if you give the first letter with a lowercase, when someone look at your program, they'll immediately know that you're not an experienced guy, because every person in the industry will follow the standards. Of course, it's not mandatory, but it is a standard that they follow. Getting it?
Okay.
By looking at your program, they can tell that you're an experienced guy or not. By looking at your program, the way you're giving the class names. Getting it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I want going forward,
Yes.
I want everyone to follow the naming standards. I want everyone to get used to it. So never start the class name with a lowercase. See, we will write
Okay.
so many programs. We will write so many programs in the next 2 months. Okay. In each and every program, the class name has to be started with a uppercase, and I want everyone to get used to it right from today.
Okay, Ramji.
Suppose if your class name has multiple words, each and every alphabet, first alphabet in each and every word's first alphabet should be in uppercase, and everything else should be in lowercase. That is the naming standard. That is the naming convention that we have to follow while writing the class names, and that is a standard that everyone follow in the industry.
Okay.
Okay. So if you observe, so right from day one, if you observe, so whatever the classes I'm writing, I'm always writing the class name with the uppercase. If you observe that. So that is the standard I
Yes.
follow every time. So I want you also to follow the same standard, because everyone follow the same standard. If you don't follow it, definitely they will come to know that you are not experienced. Okay.
Okay, Ramji.
Okay.
So next thing. So what about the naming standards for a method? So each and every method I'm writing, if you observe, the first letter should start with a lowercase. The first letter in the first word should start with a lowercase. So if you look at the main method, M is a lowercase, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you look at the M1, M is a lowercase. So that is the name of a method, right?
Yes.
So if you look at, I did not write any other methods, right? Okay. Now I'll write one method called first gear functionality. So this is the naming standard that you have to follow. The first letter should be uppercase in the first word. So in the second word, the first letter should be uppercase. This is lowercase, and this should be uppercase. And in the third word, the first letter should be uppercase. So on. Only the first letter of the first word should be in lowercase. So remaining every word, the first letter should be uppercase, just like class name.
Okay.
So this is the naming standard that you have to follow for a method. If you observe each and every method I'm writing, it always starts with a lowercase. Suppose if you have multiple words in the method name, so each and every word, the first letter should be uppercase, except the first word, the first letter. Did you get that?
Okay, Ramji. Yeah.
Yes.
Suppose if I write another method called second gear functionality. If you observe, S is in lowercase, G is in uppercase, and F is in uppercase. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Similarly,
Yes.
if you write a method called void C, the first letter is in lowercase. The first letter is in lowercase. This is
Lowercase.
the naming standard that you have to follow while writing the programs. So from today, what are the programs you are writing? Definitely, I wanted everyone to follow these naming standards for a method name and for a class name.
Okay, Ramji.
Okay.
And what about variables? What is the naming standard for a variable? So each and every variable should, the naming standards for the variables and the naming standard for the methods are same. It is same. So the first letter should start with a lowercase, and the second word first letter should start with the uppercase, just like methods.
Okay.
The naming standard for a variable name and the naming standard for a method name is same.
Ramji, what if it is a single letter like A, B? It still should be lowercase.
Obviously, it is the first letter of the first word, right? There is only
Okay.
one word called A, correct?
Okay, yeah.
That is the first letter of the first word. It should be in lowercase.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
First letter of the first word should be in lowercase.
Okay, I got it.
That is what I'm telling about the naming standard. So the naming standard is the first letter should be in lowercase and the second word's first letter should be in uppercase.
Okay.
So, one second. I want to show you something. So, did you look at the camel case? Did you look at the camel diagram?
Yes.
Okay. So, camel case means so if you look at the camel diagram, there is a hunch here and there is a hunch here, right?
Yes.
So it means every word first letter is starting with uppercase, then again lowercase. The second word first letter is starting with uppercase, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That is called camel case. That's why it's called camel case.
Okay.
Getting it?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, so if someone says camel case, don't get confused. It's like first letter should be in uppercase. The second word's first letter should be in uppercase.
Got it.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I opened Eclipse. Hold on. Ours is Notepad, right? Okay. Fine. So next thing is, so this is the first topic that this is the second topic I was talking about in this class about the naming standards. The first topic I told is what is the instance variable, what is the instance method, why they are called instance variables and why they are called instance methods. The value of the variable depends on the instance. That's why those variables are called instance variables. And these methods can be called only with the instance. Without instance, you cannot call the methods. That's why those methods are called instance methods.
Yes.
So these are the two topics I discussed in this class. Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So the next topic that I'm going to teach you today is, let me make the program simple. I'm removing all the classes that I've written. There's only one class. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
There's only one class and the class has only one member. That is a main method. There's only one member of a class. That is a main method, right?
Yes.
So now inside this main method, what I'll do is system dot out dot println. This is first program or something like this. Whatever you want to print. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I run this program, what is the first I have to compile this, and when I run this program, what is the output I'll get?
This is first.
My first.
Because by default the JRE will call the main method and all the logic inside the main method will be executed, right?
Yes.
So you'll get inside first program. So let me compile it quickly. Java C a.java and Java A. I got this is first program. Okay.
Yeah.
For example, see this is actually what is this? What I'm printing? I am printing a string. I'm printing a string, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
It is a string. String is nothing but it is there in the double quotes, correct?
Yes.
String is nothing but whatever is there in the double quotes is a string. So that is a string. For example, if I print 6, what is the output I'll get?
6.
6. Obviously, I'm printing an integer, correct?
Yeah.
I am printing an integer. Got it?
Yes.
So now if I say false, what it will print?
False.
It will print false. I am printing a boolean value, correct?
Yeah.
I am printing a boolean value. I have to compile it again because I changed the program. I got false. So I can print a string, I can print a boolean, I can print a integer, and I can print so many other things which I'm not talking now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk about those things slowly. Don't worry. This is still we are beginners, right?
Yes.
So now what I'll do is I will print 5 plus 3. So what it will print?
5 plus 3.
8.
What it will print?
8 or 5 plus 3.
5 plus 3.
It will print 8. So
8.
I'll tell you why. So Java C dot Java and Java A. You got 8, correct? So
Yes.
what is happening here is, so Java knows what is meant by plus. The JRE, the Java runtime environment knows what is meant by plus. It knows that plus is nothing but a arithmetic addition. It knows that. The JRE knows about what is plus. So when you say 5 plus 3, JRE know how to calculate the sum of those two numbers. It will calculate 8, then it will print 8. So you're asking to print the result, right? You're asking to print the result of this sum. So JRE will calculate the sum of these two numbers and get the result and print the result.
Okay.
So suppose if I say XYZ or this is the first string. This is the first string, correct?
Yes.
Plus my first program. This is the second string. This is one string and this is the another string, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And you're asking to print this. So what will you get?
This
This
is
is
my
my
first program.
first program.
So what is happening here? So
It's
JRE knows it has to concatenate this particular string and this particular string because it knows what is meant by plus. It knows what is meant by plus in this context. The meaning of plus is changing with the context, right? When you're
Yes.
doing a plus between two numbers, JRE knows it has to do the arithmetic addition. And when you're putting a plus in between two strings, JRE knows it has to concatenate. It has to combine those two strings.
Okay.
Then print
Yeah.
it. So finally it is printing the result. After combining these two strings, it is printing the result. So JRE knows how to add two strings and how to add two numbers. JRE know that.
okay.
You're running the program using JRE, right?
Yes.
So the JRE knows how to calculate the sum of two numbers and what is the meaning of plus, how to add two strings, how to add two strings and how to add two numbers. Any questions here?
No.
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 So Java C A.Java and Java A. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. For example, what JRE will do now?
Probably. Just
This
print
is
this
one.
is and 1.
It means it is concatenating or what? What it is doing? You said this is one, right? That's what you're telling, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is one means
This
it
may be
is combining this and this, correct? It is combining these two things. It is concatenating those two things, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is what your answer.
Yes.
Will everyone agree to that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously what JRE will do here is when you add a plus symbol between a string and between an integer, between string and integer, if you put a plus symbol, so what JRE will do is it will convert this one into a string. It will convert the one into a integer one into a string one. It will convert it automatically behind the scenes.
Mhm.
It will convert the integer into a string and then concatenate both the strings. That's what it will do.
Okay.
Okay.
So even you don't know what is happening behind the scenes, but JRE will do all these things behind the scenes. It will convert integer one into string one. It will convert integer one into string one and concatenate both the strings.
Okay.
So let me compile this program and let me run this program. I'll get this is one. So did you understand how to what JRE will do when you put a plus symbol between two strings? and when you put a plus symbol between two integers, and when you put a plus symbol between one string and one integer.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm talking only about a plus symbol. The other symbols does not have any meaning.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Suppose if you say this is -1, there is no meaning. It will give a compilation error for sure.
Okay. Only plus symbol it shows
Because plus symbol
concatenates.
means it is concatenating, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Combining, it is adding. It is adding two strings. I got a compilation error for sure. It is saying that bad operand type. It's not a proper operand. I hope everyone knows what is an operand.
Yes.
Okay, so this is not allowed. That's the reason I'm talking only about plus symbol. I'm not talking about any other symbol.
Okay.
Okay.
Obviously, why will you do these kind of things? Why will you do minus string and integer, right? There is no meaning. You don't write these kind of programs, right?
Yeah.
Any questions?
No.
Did everyone understand how to concatenate two numbers and how to how to concatenate two strings and how to
Yep.
add two numbers and how to concatenate a string and integer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now if I say, see, all these are basics. First of all, I wanted everyone to get comfortable with basics. Then I can go to the concepts. Okay. So
Okay.
int a is equal to 5. So if I say system dot, okay, one more thing. You can declare a variable inside a method also. Till now you're thinking that you have to declare a variable inside a class, correct?
Yeah.
Because I told that class can contain variables and methods, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So till now you're thinking that only class will contain the variables. So even method can also contain the variables. You can declare the variables inside the method also.
Yeah. Okay.
So these variables are called local variables. These are not instance variables. These are not instance variables. So I'll
Okay.
talk about what is meant by local variables very shortly. Maybe in another 2 or 3 classes, I'll talk about what is meant by local variables. But till that time, so please hold on.
Okay.
Okay. So int a is equal to 5. I created one variable inside a method. I declared one variable inside a method. System dot out dot println the value of a is plus a. So what I'm doing here, so I'm concatenating this particular string, and a is nothing but an integer, correct?
Yes.
So I'm concatenating the string and the integer. So what is the value of a? A value is 5. So I'm concatenating the string and 5, correct?
Yeah.
So I'll get the value of a is 5. It will concatenate, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I compile this program, one second. 5. One second. Just give another name. I'll tell why. Don't worry about now. I'll talk about these things later. When I talk about the local variable, I'll talk about it, okay?
Yeah.
For time being, I'm giving a different name to this variable and different name to this variable, okay?
Okay.
The value of a is 5, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is about concatenating two strings and concatenating two integers and all those things. I mean adding two integers.
Okay.
So if everyone understood this, I'll go to the next topic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Um.
So before going to next topic, I want to tell
uh,
you that. Sorry,
yeah, I have a question actually.
tell me.
Yeah, public static void main string and that AR that is array. That's why int a equal 5.
I didn't understand.
So you mean int a equal 5
I just
mean
give some random value that because it's integer. I just gave one integer value to that. You can give 10 also if you want. That's your wish.
so yeah, that's why you wrote down array.
Where did I write the array? This is array, right? String array. Okay. So
Yeah, string. Oh,
you
never
can give
mind.
a name to the
Yeah,
variable.
yeah.
If you Ramji also, that's your wish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's my questions. Yeah,
You can give any name to the variable. That's your wish. You can use the variable as A, variable as B, variable as C, or variable as Ramji. That's your wish.
got it. Yeah,
Okay. Variable name can be anything. Class name can be anything. Method name can be anything. If you give void M1, void M2, method name can be anything. Correct?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So the next topic is, before going to the next topic, so what I want to tell, what I want to ask everyone is, tell me, if you people really practice these programs in the notepad, definitely you would have experienced a lot of pain.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yes.
whether you experienced it or not.
Yeah. With the
Yes.
capital letters and
Yes.
small
Yes.
letters.
Yeah, definitely you get a lot of, for definitely you cannot write a program without a single compilation error. I'm damn sure.
Yeah. The
Yes. We have to type
system.
You write
everything.
a program and compile it, you'll get an error. When you solve that, you'll get another error. When you solve that, you'll get another error, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely you would have experienced that pain.
Yes.
So it is not so easy to write the programs in the notepad and compile that using the command prompt and run that using the command prompt, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the reason in industries no one will write the programs in the notepad. No one will write the program in the notepad. It's not easy. It will take a lot of time. It will take a lot of time for writing a simple program. It will take 15-20 minutes, which is supposed to be complete in 20 seconds or 1 minute. So I told that this is a competitive world. So if you are developing your application very slowly, if you take 3 months to develop your application, and your competitor, if your competitor develop the application in 1 month, he will go into the market first, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why you are taking 3 months? Because you are developing the programs in the notepad. It is taking a lot of time to develop the programs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your competitor will acquire the market by the time you release your application.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Yes.
So
Yes.
industries, no one will use the notepads to develop the programs. There are so many tools available to develop the programs in industries.
Okay.
Okay, so everyone will use IDE. IDE means interactive development environment. I'll talk about what is IDE. Don't worry. At this point of time, don't worry. What is the meaning of interactive development environment? So when I explain that, you'll understand what is meant by interactive development environment. Okay. So everyone use IDE. There are a lot of IDEs in the market. There are a lot of IDEs in the market. So there's a Eclipse IDE. Okay. There's a IntelliJ IDE. There's a NetBeans IDE. There are so many tools. NetBeans is a IDE. Eclipse is a IDE. Getting it? IntelliJ is a IDE. There's a STS. There's a STS IDE. Okay. There is a RAD. There's a RAD IDE. There are so many IDEs in the market. So we have to learn the, as part of this course, we are developing our programs in the Eclipse IDE.
Okay.
In most of the companies use Eclipse only, and
Okay.
every other IDE that I spoke about, the RAD or IntelliJ, all these IDEs are built on top of Eclipse. So Eclipse is the base.
Okay.
Okay.
So in the interviews, if they ask you what is the IDE that you used for developing your application, you have to tell them that we used Eclipse.
Okay.
Okay.
If they ask you what IDE you used, you have to tell them we used Eclipse to develop the applications. Getting it? Because we are going to learn about Eclipse. So we develop all the Java programs in the Eclipse, not in the Notepad. Going forward,
Okay.
Okay.
we'll develop the programs in the Eclipse IDE, not in the Notepads. So
Okay.
starting from today, there is no more Notepad, only Eclipse. But you can ask me then, if everyone follow Eclipse IDE, then why did you teach us with the notepad initially? There is a reason for that. So I'll talk about that very soon in this class only.
Yeah, Ramji, whenever you're installing Eclipse, let me know how
Why?
to do. I mean, like we can generally install it, or is it any like Java? Do you need to set up any variables again?
I'll tell you, boss. Don't worry. I will tell how to install. I will tell how to install Eclipse, and I will do it right away in this class.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, you're asking that you want to do that, and I wanted to make you as a presenter.
No, that's fine.
That's what you mean?
No,
Okay. Anyways, do you have Eclipse installed in your laptop?
no, not yet.
Okay. I wanted you to install the Eclipse in your laptop, and I'll make you as a presenter. So now I'm going to tell you how to install the Eclipse IDE. Okay. After installing the Eclipse IDE, I will tell you how to use that. How to use Eclipse to write the programs.
Okay.
Whatever the programs we have written till now, we have written 3 to 4 programs from yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So I will write all those 3 to 4 programs in the Eclipse today.
Okay.
Any questions?
No.
Everyone.
No.
No question.
Then why there is a lot of silence? Looks like you people are not confident. Can you speak louder and tell there are no questions?
Yeah, no questions.
No questions.
Questions.
Okay. So just open the Google. It's Harsha, right? Google.
Yeah.
Open Google and type. Okay. And one more thing. So I told you to install the Eclipse IDE, right? We have
Yes.
to install the Eclipse IDE. And of course, Eclipse IDE is also having multiple versions because that is also a product of one particular company, right? One particular company is developing this IDE, correct?
Yeah.
They develop that in versions, right? Version 1, version 2, version 3, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every product has versions. That's what I told, correct? So
Yes.
Eclipse also has a lot of versions. There is Eclipse Indigo. This is version. This is one version, and there is one more version called Eclipse Mars. Eclipse Mars. So there's one more version called Eclipse Mars, and there's one more version called Eclipse Oxygen, and there's one more version called Eclipse Neon. There are so many versions in the Eclipse. Okay.
Yeah.
There is Eclipse Kepler. Okay, there are so many versions. So as part of in my laptop, I have a Eclipse Indigo version. Indigo. So you can install any version, that is your wish. But if you want to install the Indigo version also, that is your wish. So as I am having Indigo version in my laptop, so I suggest you to install the same version. Otherwise, that is your wish. I don't have any restrictions on that.
Okay.
Okay. So to install Eclipse, what you have to do is Eclipse downloads. Eclipse download. So just go and check Eclipse downloads. Okay, do one thing. Instead of Eclipse download, just type Eclipse Indigo download. Hold on, I'll make you as a presenter. Hold on. So if you make Eclipse Indigo download, so then you get these things. This is Eclipse Indigo packages, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So Eclipse packages. Yeah. So this is what you see Eclipse Indigo. This is Eclipse Indigo. So here what I wanted everyone to download is Eclipse IDE for Java EE developers. Eclipse IDE for Java EE developers, the Windows version, the 64-bit Windows version. And for the people who are using Mac, they have to download the Mac 64-bit version. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
now let me make you as a presenter, Harsha. Hold on. One second. One. Harsha means SS, right?
SRE.
Yeah, I sent you a presenter request. Please share your screen.
So now go to Eclipse Indigo.
Yeah, Eclipse Indigo download. Or if you want to download the Eclipse Oxygen or Neon, that's your wish. So go and download the 64-bit.
Which one,
Go back.
Ramji?
Otherwise, go back and type Eclipse Indigo download only. Specific version I want you to download. Everything is same. Whatever the version you download is same, but I just wanted to make it consistent with my laptop.
Yeah. Okay.
Eclipse IDE for Java EE developers, Windows 64-bit. Okay, so what I want everyone to do is do the same thing. I want everyone to download the Eclipse IDE today. So probably tomorrow morning, because already 1 hour is completed, and I know it's late night in the East Coast. So
Yeah.
I will, I will stop this class for now. So everyone has to download this Eclipse IDE by tomorrow. And in tomorrow's morning class, I'll talk about how to write a program in the Eclipse.
Yeah. Okay, Ramji.
Is it fine to everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'll send the recording tonight. And I also wanted you people to wake up 1 hour early and go through the recording.
Yeah. Okay.
If it is for the people who I mean, if it is not possible for the people, so please go through the recording at least by evening.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
What
Bye.
time to start tomorrow? 9, right?
Yeah, tomorrow same time, 9 o'clock Eastern time is the class.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's fine with everyone, right?
Yes,
Yes.
Ramji.
Yes.
Okay. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Um,